One of the most infamous cults in gaming, Los Illuminados, is the central antagonist group in Resident Evil 4, led by the enigmatic and manipulative Osmond Saddler. This fanatical sect uses a parasitic organism known as Las Plagas to control its followers, turning them into mindless zealots who will obey without questions.
Prostrate yourself. This is our holy body. Our divine providence, and soon such profound blessing for all. Los Plagas. Welcome, my children. I am Osmond Saddler, the speaker for our Lord.
Tell someone who gives a shit.
Foolish lambs, why do you deny grace? Now, abandon your body. Obey. Obey the voice of our Lord.
Unlike traditional zombies, the cult's infected members, known as Ganados, retain human intelligence but act under Saddler's absolute influence. Their goal is to spread their twisted faith by infecting high-profile individuals, including the US President's daughter, Ashley Graham, whom they plan to use as a pawn for global domination. What makes Los Illuminados so unnerving is that they blend religious fanaticism with biological horror. Their eerie chanting,
Morir es vivir, morir es vivir, morir es vivir, morir es vivir.
grotesque transformations, and relentless pursuit of protagonist Leon Scott Kennedy creates a suffocating sense of dread. Their use of mind control through parasites turns allies into enemies, leaving no one safe. Even when their bodies are torn apart, their unholy will persists, making them one of the most terrifying cults in gaming histories. Las Plagas itself is more than just a tool of control. It is worshipped as a divine being by the cult. The parasite possesses an inherent hive mind alongside Saddler's to exert his influence over all who are infected, creating an eerie parallel to religious devotion. Those under the parasite's control believe they are enlightened, viewing their transformation as a form of spiritual ascension. The deeper one goes into the Los Illuminados inner circle, the more grotesque the mutations become. Some of the most horrific creatures spawned by the Las Plagas include the Garadors, blind but hyper-aware warriors whose bodies have been twisted by the parasite, and the Novistadors, insect-like abominations capable of rendering themselves invisible. At the highest levels of infections, individuals can transform into regenerators, grotesque beings with the ability to rapidly heal from nearly any wound, making them almost unstoppable. These creations serve as a testament to the cult's fanatical devotions, showing just how far they are willing to go to spread their parasitic faith. Through its combination of religious zealotry and biological monstrosities, Los Illuminados stands as one of the most horrifying depictions of cult fanaticism in gaming history. If there is one cult that embodies psychological horror, it's the Order from Silent Hill series. This deeply disturbing religious group is obsessed with bringing their dark god into the world, often through human sacrifice, extreme manipulation, and ritualistic abuse. Throughout the series, the Order influence manifests in multiple ways, from the eerie fog-covered streets of Silent Hill to the grotesque and deeply personal nightmares that haunt its victims. Their rituals and dogma have led to some of the most horrific moments in gaming, including the suffering of Alyssa Gillespie, a young girl whose torments fuel the nightmarish transformations of Silent Hill itself.
The time when all will be forgiven their sins, when the paradise we have long dreamed for will arrive. After the judgment and atonement, an eternity of bliss. Oh, Alessa, the world you wanted is nearly here.
The cult's twisted beliefs led to the creation of alternate dimensions filled with monstrosities born from guilt, trauma, and religious fanaticism. Unlike many fictional cults that seek power, the Order desires only suffering and rebirth, believing that their god's arrival will cleanse the world through pain. Their sheer cruelty and the psychological torment they inflict make them one of gaming's most deeply unsettling cults. Far Cry 5 introduced players to Eden's Gate, a doomsday cult led by charismatic but terrifying Joseph Seed. Unlike other fictional cults, Eden's Gate feel eerily real, resembling real-world extremist groups that manipulate their followers into unquestioning devotion. Joseph Seed, known as the Father, presents himself as a prophet, using a mixture of religious rhetoric, psychological manipulation, and outright brutality to keep his followers under control.
You judge me. You judge us. The things that we've done. People say that I'm crazy. But when you wake up in the morning, you look at the same news that I do. Do your eyes not fill with horror?
This is the world? This is the world we built for our children? Communities being torn apart? Walls being erected because leaders are too impotent to act.
His three siblings, John, Faith, and Jacob, each enforced the cult's ideology in their own terrifying ways, through forced confessions, mind-altering drugs, and ruthless military training. What makes Eden's Gate particularly disturbing is how its members willingly subject themselves to mind control through a drug called bliss, which alters their perception of reality and makes them docile, obedient, and utterly devoted. The game forces players to witness firsthand how an entire communities can be brainwashed into submission, making Eden's Gate one of the most unsettling cults in gaming history. The Fallout series is filled with strange and twisted factions, but the Children of Atom stand as one of the most unsettling one. This cult worships nuclear radiation, believing it to be a divine force that grants enlightenment and power. Unlike most doomsday cults, the Children of Atom thrive in the post-apocalyptic wasteland, seeing destruction not as an end but as a glorious beginning.
Would you be willing to help a fellow child of Adam? I'm part of a church in a place called the Nucleus, near the town of Far Harbor. You know it?
Far Harbor? Few know of the land shrouded beneath Adam's veil, let alone claim to have worshipped within its sacred fog. An interesting assertion, if it's true. Perhaps we can help you.
Let me know if there's anything I can do to help you.
You are kind to offer, but Atom has provided us with all that we need.
Their members expose themselves to lethal radiation levels, convinced that they are achieving spiritual transcendence. Some even seek to spread radiation to others, believing that they are offering them a divine gift. What makes the Children of Atom so disturbing is their unwavering faith in destruction. The doctrine is a chilling reminder of how far blind devotion can go, and their willingness to sacrifice everything to their beliefs make them truly terrifying presence in the Fallout universe. Few games capture the eldritch horror of religious fanaticism quite like Bloodborne. The Healing Church, alongside its secretive offshoot, the Choir, serves as the nightmarish centerpiece of the game's lore, manipulating the citizens of Yharnam under the guise of faith and divine ascension. What begins as a seemingly benevolent organization quickly unravels into something much darker, rooted in the worship of incomprehensible cosmic entities. The Healing Church's doctrine revolves around the use of old blood, a mysterious and powerful substance obtained from the Great Ones, ancient cosmic beings that exists beyond human understanding.
We are born of the blood, made men by the blood, undone by the blood. Our eyes are yet to open. Fear the old blood.
The Church preaches that the blood is sacred, capable of curing ailments and granting enlightenment, but in reality it is a curse. Prolonged exposure to the blood leads to horrific transformations, turning the faithful into grotesque beasts. Yet the church continues its experiments, convinced that transcendence lies in further blood ministration. Within the church, the choir represents the highest level of devotion, seeking direct communication with the great ones. Unlike the lower sects, which rely on blind faith, the choir actively studies the eldritch beings, attempting to ascend beyond their human limitations. Their experiments lead to the creation of terrifying beings like the celestial emissaries, grotesque mockeries of angels, and Ibritas, daughters of the cosmos, a failed attempt to elevating humanity to godhood. Perhaps the most unsettling aspects of the healing church is its effect on Yharnam itself. The city's citizens eagerly accept the blood ministration, unaware that their devotion is dooming them to a fate worse than death. Those who succumb to the old blood's influence transform into horrific abominations, lurking in the streets and cathedrals as monstrous reflections of their former selves. The church, rather than halting the madness, embraces it, believing that only through suffering can they reach true ascension. Through its fusion of religious zealotry, scientific horror, and Lovecraftian terror, the healing church is truly terrifying.